Alright, boys and girls, we're going to do a little lap around the Nürburgring. This time we are in a Mclaren F1 GTR. And the whole point of this video today is essentially to tell you about this ProSim H-pattern shifter, and then a little bit of insight into what I plan on doing with this little channel here. Okay, so let's get some heat in these tires. Let's try to get a clean lap in, because I've been having quite a difficult time getting a clean lap in here with this car. And then we'll talk about the feel of the shifter and what I think about it, if it's worth it or not. Here we go. Alright. So first off, this channel. I plan on doing mostly iRacing videos, to be perfectly honest with you. I do want to get into a set of Corsa Competizione, but as you guys know, if you have the game, the graphics are terrible. So I'm trying to work on getting the graphics configured enough so I can both record the videos and play it afterward, because I haven't been able to play it. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a new screen coming in to replace these triple monitors. Hopefully I'll get some frames out of that. I'm going back to an ultra-wide. The Samsung G9 49-inch, so hopefully that will resolve some of my frames issues. And then down the road, when those juicy new graphics cards come out, hopefully I'll pick up one of those also. But today we're on the i7 2070. It's been doing the job so far, but I think we can get a little bit more performance out of this system, but I'm going to wait for all the good stuff to come out next year. But in the meantime, I'm kind of stuck with a set of Corsa because iRacing is a little bit too demanding on my CPU to do these recordings. So most of my videos in the future will be some type of GT class racing, whether it's a set of Corsa Competizione or the IMSA 24-hour series or the VRS series on iRacing. So I'm looking forward to getting those started because I haven't actually raced in a while. For good reason, actually, you know. Getting a little tired of the punts. But it also gave me some time to kind of play around with a set of Corsa, which I haven't really used too much. I'm really getting used to this feedback, and I gotta say it's really good. But we're gonna talk about this shifter today. As soon as we get to, let's get around this turn, and we can start talking about. Oh, that's not the way to hit it. There's that. Rip it. Yeah, this shifter. This is the ProSim H-pattern shifter. It is, in my opinion, an absolute dream, and I think it's highly worth its value. For people specifically, if you're going to be driving an MX-5 Cup or any other manual car like this, for example, say you have some really good things going on in a set of Corsa or other things, and you really like to use an H pattern, there's a couple other good ones out there. Gotta be honest, the Fanatec is really good. Assuming that it's working properly, it's really good. And it has a similar type of adjustability in the throw resistance. And that's one of the best parts about this shifter is that you can adjust the fore and aft tension and the left and right tension. In fact, I just had to adjust the left and right because one small flaw of this shifter is that it tends to loosen up on the left and right because there's a nut on this shaft inside the middle of this housing that basically looks like a camshaft. Probably because the guys from Quaife helped develop this shifter, and you guys know who Quaife is. They're basically famous for creating really high performance limited slip differentials way back in the day when I was a JDM kid. The Quaife LSD was basically what gold standard of differentials, so it's good to see them entering the sim market. Specifically teaming up with ProSim is also another excellent company that makes really good racer specific stuff. But adjustability again is fantastic. So like I mentioned, the nut on the shaft kind of loosened up a little bit. It made like the left to right like a limp noodle, so every now and then you have to tighten it. That's the second time I've had to do it in the last year or so. You know, it's not that big of a maintenance activity. I'm going to see if I can get a locking nut on the back of that thing so it doesn't have to move ever again. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that sometimes I leave it in gear and then I'll go drive around in these high torque GTE cars and I'll shake the shit out of my simulator. And I think that because it's in that position all the time and being shaken, it kind of backs the nut off. So outside of that, adjustability is fantastic on this thing. I really enjoy it. Now the looks of this thing is obviously pretty sexy also, in my opinion. The anodized red casing, the cast casing that is the other half of the unit, all looks really good. The shifter feels fantastic. And I gotta tell you that the shift knob itself, it just has a really smooth and light textured feeling to it. But the best part about this shifter is the rigidity. It's how firm it is. And if you have it on a really strong rig like this P1X, let's get some more RPMs going here. If you have it a really strong rig like this, then there's no movement. You get all the tactile feedback, which is the best part of this shifter, is how it feels. It has a very clicky motion to it. I compare this with my street car, and as much as I like my street car's transmission or gearbox, this thing is significantly better feeling, in my opinion. If I could get this in my car, I'd be extremely happy. Or something similar feeling. So there's not much to really review with a shifter outside of, does it work and is it worth it? Now I think this is around $1,500 US, compared to like the Fanatic that's about 199 euros, 249, whatever it is now. And is it worth, 6 times the cost for this? And I would say if you're not using a manual shifter literally every day or using it as a training tool like Barry mentioned, then you don't have any reason to buy this shifter unless you just want to build the highest end simulator out on the market. But if you do use like Global MX-5 Cup, or like I mentioned before, like you're racing in these type of scenarios all the time and just playing around with friends or even drifting, and you have the extra scratch for it, I think you should absolutely buy this shifter. Let's just finish up here. Yeah, I actually made it through successfully. It's 7 minutes and 36 seconds. Maybe we can come back and try to get a faster lap going on. But the moral of the story is, I really enjoy this shifter. I think it's a really high value for the money. I think this is a buy once type of scenario. You don't have to worry about this thing breaking down. You could ram it into gear as hard as you want to. But if you're not using manual cars all the time, it's kind of hard to justify the cost for this particular unit. So that's just my thoughts, my opinion. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you on the track next time.